It's 2 o'clock in the morning. The room is pitch black, illuminated only by the cold, blue glow of a monitor. You're scrolling. Millions of guys across America are doing the exact same thing right now. Looking for an escape. Looking for a distraction. Looking for something that feels real in a digital world that feels increasingly fake. And then, she appears on your screen. She doesn't look like a Hollywood celebrity. She doesn't have the exaggerated plastic surgery, the heavy studio makeup, or the untouchable, arrogant aura of a traditional model. She's wearing an oversized hoodie. Her hair is slightly messy. She's sitting in a normal bedroom with cheap LED strip lights glowing in the background. She looks right into the camera lens with a soft, innocent smile, bites her lip, and suddenly, your brain's dopamine receptors completely short-circuit. She feels accessible. She feels intimate. She looks like the cute girl from your college dorm, or the gamer girl you match with in a late-night Discord server. You think you found her. You think you stumbled upon someone authentic. What you don't realize is that you have just walked directly into one of the most sophisticated, psychologically engineered seduction traps in internet history. Her name is Eva Elfie, and while millions of men look at her and see their ultimate fantasy, what they are actually looking at is a ruthless, calculated apex predator of the attention economy. She didn't just accidentally become the most searched adult creator on the planet. She weaponized male psychology, hacked the global gaming industry, and turned human desire into a multi-million-dollar empire that generates over $300,000 every single month. This is the story of how a broke teenager from a freezing wasteland mastered the dark art of digital seduction, brought the biggest gamers in the world to their knees, and built an empire by selling the one thing modern men crave more than anything else: intimacy. To understand the hypnotic power of Eva Elfie, we have to talk about the biology of attraction and the modern crisis of male loneliness. For the last 20 years, the adult entertainment industry operated on a very specific formula. It was built in Los Angeles mansions by corporate executives who thought men wanted perfection. They pushed artificial bodies, blinding studio lights, scripted dialogue, and performers who looked more like plastic mannequins than human beings. It was aggressive, loud, and completely disconnected from reality. For a while, it worked. But over the last decade, something shifted in the American psyche. Young men, specifically millennials and Gen Z, grew up entirely online. They became exhausted by corporate perfection. They became hyper-aware of marketing. At the same time, screen addiction, remote work, and social media created an epidemic of isolation. Men didn't just want physical visual stimulation anymore. They wanted the illusion of connection. They wanted the girlfriend experience. Enter Yulia. Long before the world knew her as Eva Elfie, she was sitting in Omsk, Russia, a decaying, freezing industrial city in Siberia where the winter drops to 30 degrees below zero, and the average person makes $400 a month. There is no glamour in Omsk. There's gray concrete, factories, and survival. Yulia knew she had one asset that could get her out of the cold: her understanding of how men think. When she moved to Moscow at 18, she didn't try to fit into the traditional Russian modeling scene, which demanded cold, runway-style perfection. Instead, when she decided to enter the adult space in 2019, she did the exact opposite of what every other girl was doing. She stripped away the glamour. She kept her natural physique. She perfected the girl-next-door aesthetic: knee-high socks, pleated skirts, oversized gaming t-shirts, and minimal makeup that made her look fresh, youthful, and completely natural. When she turned on the camera, she didn't act like a performer doing a job. She acted like she was keeping a secret with the viewer. The eye contact was intense, lingering just a second too long. The smiles were shy, almost embarrassed. It was intoxicating. It bypassed the logical brain and triggered a primal, protective, and deeply obsessive instinct in the male viewer. When her first videos hit the American market, it wasn't just a success. It was a cultural wildfire. Guys weren't just watching her. They were becoming obsessed with her. The comment sections weren't just talking about her body. They were talking about her face, her laugh, her cute English accent, and how she felt like a real girlfriend. Within months, She had racked up hundreds of millions of views. She crushed every veteran in the industry, skyrocketing to the #1 rank worldwide. She had successfully bottled and monetized digital intimacy. But seduction is a dangerous game. In the attention economy, beauty fades fast, and novelty fades even faster. The internet is littered with girls who were the #1 fantasy for 6 months, only to be replaced by the next 18-year-old girl with a webcam. Eva knew that if she stayed in the bedroom, her empire would eventually collapse. She needed to take her seductive power out of the shadows and inject it directly into the mainstream bloodstream. She needed a demographic of men who had massive amounts of screen time, high disposable income, and an intense susceptibility to parasocial relationships. She found them in the world of competitive esports. Think about the average hardcore gamer. He spends 10 to 14 hours a day locked in a room, grinding ranked matches in Counter-Strike or Dota 2. His world is high-stress, hyper-competitive, and overwhelmingly male. Eva didn't just pretend to be a gamer for clout. She understood that gamers can smell a fake from a mile away. So she actually learned the games. She streamed herself playing. She learned the toxic memes, the weapon skins, and the culture. She positioned herself as the ultimate forbidden fruit, the hyper-attractive, sexually liberated girl who actually understands your favorite video game and wants to watch you play. Then she executed the physical takeover. Imagine the scene at the Counter-Strike major tournament in Rio de Janeiro. You have an arena packed with 20,000 screaming fans. The energy is electric. On the main stage, the greatest professional gamers on Earth are sitting behind their monitors, playing for a multi-million-dollar prize pool. Their faces are deadpan. Their heart rates are controlled. They are absolute cold-blooded digital assassins. Then Eva Elfie walks into the VIP section. She isn't wearing something revealing. She's wearing a standard esports team jersey and tight jeans. Yet, the moment she steps into the light, the gravitational pull of the entire arena shifts. The live Twitch chat, with over 500,000 people watching, completely derails. The game on screen becomes secondary. The chat is moving at 1,000 messages a second, flooding with her name. Backstage, Eva started pulling professional players aside for quick interviews for her YouTube channel. And this is where her psychological dominance became undeniably visible. These pro players, guys who routinely clutch 1 versus 5 rounds in front of millions without breaking a sweat, completely fell apart in front of her. You can watch the footage. The body language is hypnotic. These young millionaires are blushing. They are stammering. They can't maintain eye contact with her. They are nervously shifting on their feet, giggling nervously while Eva stands there, holding the microphone, looking up at them with those massive, alluring eyes and a knowing smirk. She held absolute power in that room. Without taking off a single piece of clothing, she had completely disarmed the biggest stars in gaming. Those short interview clips were pure algorithmic crack. They flooded TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels. Mainstream commentary channels with tens of millions of subscribers started reacting to them. The narrative wrote itself, the adult star who broke esports. By crossing into the gaming world, Eva achieved the impossible. She sanitized her brand without losing her sexual allure. She became a mainstream meme, a cultural icon, a girl that guys could openly talk about with their friends without feeling the shame usually associated with adult content. And once she had millions of mainstream American men hooked on her safe-for-work persona, she opened the trapdoor to the real money machine. If you watch Eva Elfie on YouTube today, you are watching a masterclass in the seductive funnel. Her YouTube videos are clean. She's reviewing Lamborghinis in Dubai, trying on expensive sneakers, or doing behind-the-scenes vlogs at gaming events. She is bubbly, charming, and playfully teasing. She gives you just enough to make you fall in love with her personality, just enough to make you crave more. She makes you feel like you're hanging out with her. And right there, in the description of every single video, sits a simple link. She doesn't have to beg you to click it. She doesn't have to push hard sales tactics. Human curiosity and male desire do all the heavy lifting. You watch her smile on YouTube, your brain wonders what happens behind closed doors, and your finger clicks the link to her OnlyFans. The moment you cross that paywall, the illusion of the free internet ends, and the shadow economy begins. Inside her private ecosystem, intimacy is scaled to an industrial level. You aren't just paying a $10 or $15 monthly subscription. That's just the cover charge to enter the digital VIP room. Once inside, her system is designed to make you feel like you are the only man in the world. Direct messages hit your inbox. Pay-per-view videos that feel raw, exclusive, and meant just for you. Custom voice notes. The teasing escalates. The boundaries dissolve. Wealthy guys in tech, finance, and crypto, men with endless money but zero time for real-world dating. Drop thousands of dollars in tips just to get a personalized message from the girl they watched on stage at the gaming tournament. Let's look at the staggering reality of the math. With an estimated 30,000 active paying subscribers on OnlyFans, her baseline subscription revenue alone pulls in over $300,000 every 30 days. When you add the high-ticket pay-per-view messages, the custom tips, and the private requests, her monthly cash flow from private subscribers easily pushes past $400,000. Add to that her legacy royalties. Because she owns the rights to thousands of her original adult videos across the major tube networks. Every single time a guy in America gets lonely at night and searches her name, she gets paid. Those passive ad royalties generate another $50,000 a month on autopilot. Then comes the corporate gray market money. Traditional family-friendly brands might be afraid of her seductive image, but the multi-billion-dollar offshore gambling and sports betting syndicates aren't. They know that sex and risk light up the exact same dopamine centers in the male brain. When massive betting platforms like 1xBet signed Eva Elfie as their global brand ambassador, they weren't just paying for her face on a billboard. They were paying to inject her seductive, risk-taking persona directly into the minds of young sports and esports bettors. They flew her on private jets, put her in tight dresses at VIP sports lounges, and paid her an estimated retainer of $80,000 to $100,000 a month just to associate her allure with their platform. Add it all together, the YouTube ad revenue, the betting sponsorships, the tube site royalties, the massive OnlyFans empire. This 20-something girl from a freezing, forgotten town in Siberia is pulling in an estimated $4 to $5 million every single year in pure, liquid cash. She lives in a luxury penthouse in Dubai, entirely tax-free. She drives custom supercars. She has a full staff of editors, security, and wealth managers. She completely inverted the system that was designed to use her up and throw her away. In the old world, women in her industry were victims of the camera. In Eva Elfie's world, the camera is a weapon, and she is the one pulling the trigger. She understood before anyone else that in the modern digital age, attention is currency, and seduction is the ultimate cheat code. She didn't just sell her body. She sold an aesthetic, a fantasy, a parasocial romance that millions of men willingly buy into every single day. When you look at her now, smiling from the driver's seat of a Ferrari or walking through an arena of cheering fans, you have to admit the truth. You can judge the hustle. You can criticize the industry. You can pretend you don't know her name. But at the end of the day, she hacked the male mind, beat the algorithm, and built an untouchable empire. She played the game better than anyone else in history. So the next time she pops up on your screen late at night, looking at you with that innocent, teasing smile, just remember who is really in control.